And I've got to get new glasses soon. All right. Gonna melt off the tips on all this paracord for the Yawara and the Tessin or Tenarashi. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Finishing Work. Just melting off the ends of this paracord while we're waiting on people to show up. If I can get it to cooperate. What's everybody up to this morning? Thanks for the likes. Oh, God. There you go. See if I can not stab myself in the face with my scissors this morning. All right. Hey, what's up, reality? Right now, I am melting off the ends of this paracord. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm going to be cording up. I've got Yawara, some Tenarashi Tessin. I've got a Tonga War Club we're going to be doing this morning. I'm going to be cording up an Atasi Cherokee Club, and I've got this Polynesian Shark Tooth War Club we're going to be finishing this morning. But before I do that, I got to melt off the ends of all this paracord. What are you up to this morning? Why are you up early or are you up late? Seems like most people that come to my lives are either up unusually early or they're up unusually late. You're welcome, angry man. I'm sorry that I'm the thing that you're using for that, but you're welcome. You're getting circumcised today, huh? Well, congratulations, Bitta, I guess. How do I feel about potato chips? I mean, I'm for them, I guess, you know. I don't want to be too controversial on here, you know, but, you know, I like potato chips. And the one controversial thing I do have to say about potato chips is that my favorite chip is Pringles, which some people will argue is not a potato chip. J-Pip, get out of here with that, JP. Hey, what's up, Aja? Thanks, reality. No, not sparking a joint. Just melting off the ends of paracord. I'll get to the interesting stuff in a minute. I just got to get this done before I get started. Back up. I know. I have issues with eyesight, so I have to kind of lean in to read comments. I'm sorry about that. I know it's a weird angle when I'm up close to the camera. But I promise the whole live won't just be me melting paracord. I just got to get this done before I can move on to the interesting stuff. Spark it up, homie. Yeah. I'm sparking up the paracord. Well, angry man, Palestine or not, you know, I don't care what side of a war you're on. There's no reason to hate an entire people. Try to remember that wars are fought by governments, not by people. Or I shouldn't say wars aren't fought by people. They are fought by people, but the decisions that lead to war are made by governments, not people. 9 times out of 10, governments go to war no matter what their people want. I'm sorry, Matthew. You need me to be quiet because you're trying to relax? Exactly, Ryan. Wars are caused by old men and fought by young men. That is very true. Almost done, guys. I think I just got one more of these to do after this one, and we'll move on. My table's going to be messy as hell by the time I'm done today. Since I had Black Friday off, I decided to work 2 days or 3 days instead of 2 this weekend, and I may have gone a little overboard. Post a DK pic. like DK Publishing? No, I will not be posting those kind of pics. Ain't nobody want to see that. DK pic. I don't know, Ryan. That's weird. I've been getting an unusual amount of trolls lately. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. I'm guessing that means more people are showing up. So, I'm guessing maybe a good sign. I don't know. What am I making, Lejo? I am making a bunch of stuff this morning. I got a fish bopper I'm gonna wrap the handle on. I've got a bunch of different kinds of tenarashi practice testing. I've got this Tonga War Club. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cord wrap the handle on this one or not. Haven't decided yet. It's gonna get a wrist loop in the bottom. I've got some Ipe Uwara, Pakiwara we're gonna cord up. Got an atasi War Club made out of hickory. Kind of decide if I'm going to wrap the handle on this one. I haven't figured that out yet. I've got this shark tooth Polynesian War Club that I'm going to be finishing up this morning. And I've also got some stuff behind me that's still curing. It's got a second coat of tung oil. We'll get to that later. And I'm handle wrapping this one solitary vampire hunter steak. So I got a lot of stuff to get through this morning. What's my branch? I still am technically. I was United States Marine Corps, but I haven't been an active duty Marine since 2001. But you know, they say once a Marine, always a Marine. So technically still a Marine, but former, no longer active duty. Oh, thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a long time ago, though. These days, I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. I have so many freaking old injuries that I deal with. I pretty much just live with constant pain now, which is fine. You know, I'm an old man. I guess that's just kind of comes with the territory. I'm in my late 40s. I feel like everybody my age has got back pain and weird knees. Hey, thanks, Mr. Fabian. Appreciate that. You too. Sorry, I'll try not to lean in close too much. Let's let's get these tenarashi done first. These are simple. These are used by people that do Tessin Jutsu, Kopo Jutsu, Kobudo. I think there might be a couple other, I think traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, some of those schools still use it. It's supposed to resemble the shape of a iron folding fan. And it's called a tenarashi. Tenarashi just basically means practice stick. But these are to practice Tessin Jutsu, which is war fan. This is a war fan martial art. Without using an actual iron fan. That one's Purple Heart. This one's White Ash. And I've got two Yellow Heart ones I gotta cord up this morning. And I know it's not necessarily traditional, but I just use a paracord loop. The customer can change the loop material pretty easily to whatever they want it to be. I was doing leather on these when I first started, but it made them more expensive using the leather. Paracord's a lot cheaper than leather cording, so. Hey, what's up, Juan? You're Spanish, but living in Bulgaria. You like my weapons? Thank you. I make a lot of them. So why is a Spaniard in Bulgaria? What's going on with that? Just start somewhere. You were in the Army. You're 36, working on getting your fitness back. Yeah, do it while you're in your 30s, man. I did no exercise in my 30s. I got so fat in my 30s and so out of shape. And it wasn't until I was 40 that I decided to try to get back in shape. Don't do it at 40, man. Do it at 36. It doesn't get better. It doesn't. It gets so much harder after 40. Oh, Bulgaria is a cheap country? That makes sense. You can't tell what there at the end. All right, let me put these over here in the finished area. Get them out of my way. Actually, you know what? While I'm up, give me 1 second. I got some stuff back there that I need to wipe down. I put it in tung oil this morning. I just need to wipe these down real quick. Might as well get it over with while I'm over here. This is my European Beach Aikido Boken. It's made from pressure-treated European beech. It's the same wood they use to make axe handles, sledgehammer handles, stuff like that. Takes impacts really well. And like all of my wasters and boken, it has a no-break guarantee. If it breaks when it shouldn't break, I replace it free of charge. All you have to do is send me a photo and tell me how it broke. That simple. Just so I can figure out if it was a mistake I made, like with the grain configuration, or if there's an issue with the design. By the way, this is a medieval waster short sword. This is a White Ash. It's probably the last waster I'll be able to make in Boken, I'll be able to make out of white ash. So if you want any of the Boken or wasters that I've made out of white ash over the last couple months, get them now, because I don't know when I'm going to get another shipment of white ash, because it's just too hard to get. And this is an Ipe Ironwood Tonga War Club, made completely out of reclaimed Ipe. Ipe wood's good stuff. It's got a really high Janka hardness. It's insect resistant, decay resistant, and strong as hell. I haven't decided if I'm going to wrap the handle on that one or if I'm just going to leave it as is. I'll set it here and figure that out in a minute. And then this is a Rudis trophy sword made out of Padauk. I normally make my Rudis swords out of Purple Heart, but I wanted to see what it looked like as Padauk. I don't hate it. I'm not in love with it though. I think I may just stick to Purple Heart from here on. But you never know till you try it. Padauk looks pretty cool when it's sanded up, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. I'm gonna set this over here. We're gonna put a leather handle wrap on this one later, but I'm gonna let it sit for a little longer. There we go. All right, let's do these Yawara real quick. Why I stroked that pole? Because it's my job, man. I stroke the pole. Yeah, white ash, we've got this invasive species here in the U.S., the emerald ash borer, that is really messing up the white ash forest here. The only way you're supposed to harvest it is if it's from a tree farm, which I don't use tree farms, or if it basically the tree gets down naturally, which is how I got those. One of my vendors, they have a mobile sawmill. There was a big ash tree that came down due to a storm, so they were able to harvest the whole tree, and I was able to buy some lengths of white ash. Yes, they are combat weapons, the end. Yes, Janka hardness. Yeah, the Janka scale, it's how much pound force a wood can withstand. You know, like Kumaru, for example, or Kumaru, which is a wood that I work with. It has a Janka hardness of 3,200 to 3,700 pound force. So the Janka hardness is basically how much pound force a wood can withstand. It tells you how, people who make weapons a lot of times follow the Janka scale because it tells us how resilient a wood will be to impacts. But yeah, for the most part, they're combat weapons. Some of my stuff is for cosplay. You know, this is a fish bopper. I mean, to be honest, anything's a combat weapon if you try hard enough, right? You used to have a bedroom with this color green behind me. I don't know. It was this color when I moved in. Hey, Barbara, welcome. And this is also Ipe. This is not as hard as Kumaru, but it's got about, I think it's a 2,700 to 3,000 pound force. Janka hardness. Still pretty damn tough. I mean, honestly, anything over 1,000 is pretty impressive on the Janka scale. Oh, absolutely it will. No, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. Orange, I wish it was. White ash is not cheap. It is if you buy it from tree farms, but a lot of those tree farms, unfortunately, they're already getting ash borer infestations, and it's not good. Not good at all. I'm hoping, you know, it doesn't make its way to Canada, because Canada, they've got ash up there, and I'd hate to see it infect there for us. Where am I from? Where am I? I'm streaming from the Gulf Coast of Florida. I'm in South Florida. A town called Inglewood. That's where my shop is. I have no idea what Jenka stands for, to be honest with you. I don't even know where that name comes from. I'm just familiar with the scale. Barbara, I'm not really from anywhere. I was born in a small town in Oklahoma called Yukon. It claims to be the home of Garth Brooks. But Garth Brooks doesn't even claim it, so... but I moved around a lot. Like, I don't know that I would claim Oklahoma as my home. I left there when I was like 10 years old. Never went back. I went to 13 schools in 12 years. So, you know, I've lived in Oklahoma, California, New Mexico, Texas, North Carolina, Florida. I've moved around a lot. So, there we go. 2 down. Yeah, it can be. It depends on the tree farm. That's the thing with tree farms. Like, if a tree farm is well run, which most of them aren't, they wait, you know, until the tree is properly matured before harvesting it. But a lot of them, because of the demand for white ash, are harvesting their trees younger and younger, and eventually they're not going to have them either, because they keep doing that. I think what they should probably do is just put a moratorium on any ash harvesting until, you know, we either figure out how to get rid of the ash borer or whatever. But unless a tree's down by natural means, even if it's in a tree farm, I don't think they should be harvesting emerald or harvesting white ash. It's just not. We're not going to have any left if we're going to have any ash, period, white or otherwise, if they don't. Oh my God, yeah, pine is crap. That's why, like, a lot of my pine, I get it. I work in home renovations during the week, and I snag wood every now and then. I end up with a lot of pine here and there. Luckily, it's older pine, usually, because it's from old construction. But yeah, the newer pine, the yellow pine, like stuff you get at the grocery store, the hardware store, is not always great. It for military family, no, the end, not a military family. I was in the military when I became an adult, but no, it was just life in general, doing weird stuff. We moved around a bunch in Oklahoma. My biological father had some mental health issues, and when my parents got divorced, he got kind of violent for a while, so we had to move around a lot to stay away from him. Then my mom got remarried to a guy who worked for a bus company. We ended up moving to California. We lived in California. Oh, thanks, DN. The rings are ridiculous. What rings? Thanks, JP. I love how you're bringing the positivity to this morning's live stream. I appreciate it, my guy. But yeah, no, I moved around a lot. Then by the time I was 16, I got into some trouble. Ended up in military school in New Mexico. Finally ended up in Texas at the end there. And then around 2012, I moved to Florida. Wasn't planning on staying, but I ended up staying. Oh, the rings on pine. Yeah. I get what you're saying. All right. So this is a Tongan war club, Polynesian. Trying to figure out, what do you guys think? Should I wrap the handle or just do the wrist loop in the hole here? What do you guys think? Trying to figure out what to do with this. I don't know if it would look good with a cord wrap or not. I usually use like jute or sinew for the wraps on these Polynesian clubs. Wrist loop and crave some texture. So does that mean yes on the handle wrap or wrapped handle? All right. Well, in that case, let's do that first before we do the wrist loop. We'll just do a basic friction fit wrap. I don't know why I said it like that. It's pretty much all I ever do is the basic friction fit wrap. It's the easiest wrap to do. I can get it tight enough. This was, I made 2 Tongan Fijian war clubs this weekend. This is the smaller of the 2. This design, the other design is big. It didn't come with a, I noticed it didn't have the hole in the handle. I get the impression this was more of a tertiary war club, like something you looped onto a belt so that you had it when your other weapons were done. Depends on your grip. Yeah, it does. I find that the Hawaiians and the Polynesians, a lot of their weapons were wood. Even their knives, they have these pahoa daggers that are probably some of the best designed wooden stabbing implements I've ever seen in my life. I've made a few of those out of Kumaru. Those are already up on the shop. Why don't you keep up on me? That's not the time for that. Yeah, I got really lucky. I came into a bunch of ipe that my my boss at my day job had reclaimed from a work site. It had some water damage to it, but luckily that was only the outer layer of the wood. So once I was able to kind of get to the core of the wood, the core was good. Do I make wooden axes? Not very often. I have made wooden axes. I'll make them as for custom orders, but that's about it. I don't make them regularly. Axes are a little harder than most people realize to make out of wood because of the way the grain configuration needs to be. So you definitely have to have 2 separate pieces that are joined together, and that's always a difficult thing when you want to make something that's usable for sparring. But I do make them. Mostly, I've made them for like Boo-Hurt armored combat guys that use axes. I make practice weapons for some of those guys. It's honestly, I would say the only person I've made axes for, the only people I've made axes for have been armored combat guys. Oh, polymer line? Really? You use a polymer line for cord wrap? Yeah, I mean, I can see it working. I have some plastic line. It's actually made from recycled plastic from like the ocean, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with. I bought it a while back thinking I would use it, but it's not quite as it's a little thin. It's strong, it's just thin, and so I haven't really had a use for it yet. One of these days. So what's everybody up to this morning? Just awake at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time with nothing better to do than watch a portly middle-aged man cord wrap a bunch of weapons. I think we're almost there, folks. Yeah, to be honest, just about anything that gives a little bit of texture to a handle, you know, I can see polymer doing that. You know, you just need, your fingers just need something for the ridges in your hand to kind of grip to. So a lot of people get fancy with their cord wraps. I don't. I keep it simple, because I want my cord wraps to be easy to replace if needed. I don't use adhesive unless it's on a cosplay item most of the time. You're working up the strength to walk 4 dogs? Holy shit, dude. Yeah, that's a lot of dogs. Drinking coffee there, Snow Bear. Glad to hear it, Steve. You're making coffee and watching a middle-aged man courting an ancient weapon? That's good to know. Almost there. I think right a couple more rounds and we're good. One more. There we go. Got to make sure it's down tight. There we go. All right. Ah, those are my glasses. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Flounder. I appreciate that. We all might be related. We're all doing the same stuff. All right, I probably should have measured this out, but I did not. So we're gonna eyeball it. Usually need about 24 inches of cord for a wrist loop. I'd say that's close. All right, you guys forgive me, I do something gross real quick. Yes, I do specialize in handmade melee equipment. There, Flounder, that's kind of my shop's thing. I also do I do practice weapons, and I do replicas of usually pre-Iron Age weapons, and I make cosplay props. That's pretty much my shop's thing. All right, that may be too long, but oh well. There we go. Tongan War Club. Done. Give me 1 second. Put this over here. It's out of the way. I have so much crap in my way today. Where do you order from? If you go to the link in my bio, the links in my bio, you can find a link to my eBay shop. Oh, thanks, Daryl. Yeah, Flash Gordon, love this film. So if you go to my bio, you'll find a link to my eBay shop. I also have a website, warriorwoodandprops.com. It's not functioning right now, so please don't use it. You can use it to contact me for custom orders, but that's about it. Shopify, I don't know what happened with my Shopify store, but back in like July or August, I got locked out of my shop, and I can't figure out why. and I can't get a hold of anybody from Shopify to help me. So I'm basically just paying for a shop that doesn't work right now. I can't even figure out how to cancel my subscription. But my eBay shop, yeah, it works. All of my inventory's on the eBay store, so go do that. You collect melee weapons? Dude, you're gonna love my shop. I have all the melee weapons. I have assassin stilettos. I have war clubs. I have wooden daggers. I got stabs. I got cudgels. I got, you name it, I got it. I've got bouquet, European wasters. I've got so much stuff. But yeah, I make all sorts of melee weapons. Kind of started as a child doing this, and it followed me into adulthood. So, although I did it in college, I made this as like a second job, and now I do it again as my third job. I have way too many jobs. During the week, during the week, I work in home renovations and decoration. Painting, furniture restoration, stuff like that. And then on the weekends, I run the shop. And I also write. I have a mythology master's degree. Worst financial decision ever. But I write books every now and then for Penguin Random House on mythology. I write under the name Nathan Robert Brown. You can look that up. You can find my books pretty much anywhere. This is just a fish bopper or fish whacker or fish knocker. This is reclaimed yellow pine from a construction site. I wasn't sure what kind of wood it was when I got it because the outer layer of all the wood was painted. So by the time, I don't normally make stuff like this out of pine, but by the time I figured out what kind of wood it was, I'd already basically shaped it out, so decided to roll with it. Yeah, I've got a lot of replicas. Oh, thanks for the tip there, Orange. Yeah, I thought it could be fir or spruce because of the sawdust is kind of what gives it away. It's definitely in that family because the sawdust kind of looks cottony and it kind of clumps together, and that's usually pine. Fir kind of does that too, but the dust seems to be a little finer with fir. I gotta roll with the rolling pin, right? But it's a fish bopper. It doesn't need to be. That's kind of the upside when you make a fish dispatch stick or a fish whack. I've heard so many names for these things: fish whacker, fish club, fish knocker, fish bopper. I've heard them called dispatch sticks, but they're just for knocking the fish over the head to stun it, so you can finish it off humanely without getting cut by the fins. Well, if you like mythology, Flounder, I write a lot of mythology books. I wrote the Complete Idiot's Guide to World Mythology for the Idiot's Guide series. I've written a couple books on TV shows. I did the Mythology of Supernatural when that was a show on the CW. I did the Mythology of Grimm when the Grimm show was on NBC. That one was a lot of fun. I would honestly love to write another fairy tale book that's not related to a TV show, but the publisher has not allowed for that yet. I'm hoping after I finish the current book that I'm working on, they'll let me do that. Right now, I'm working on a series of illustrated kids' encyclopedias. We did one on supernatural creatures a couple years ago. Then last year, we did legendary heroes. That was DK Publishing, which is owned by Penguin Random House. And then right now, I'm working on The Unknown, which is a kind of a unsolved mysteries kind of book. You know, it's just about weird, spooky stuff and disappearances and UFO sightings and weird things like that. Lloyd, this is just it's a fish club, just a fish knocker. Nothing nothing super impressive. Just came from a piece of reclaimed wood that I needed to do something with. Usually if I have wood and I don't know what it is, I go with a fish club before I do anything else, because you don't have to have a super awesome strong wood for a fish club. You just need it to be heavy enough to stun a fish, which doesn't take a whole lot. Oh yeah, flounder. Yeah, like that's what happens with me. Like I'll go, we'll go to a site where they've gutted the house. A lot of people in Florida, because you can't really do new real estate development in most places in Florida now. You have to buy a pre-existing property and build on that. So a lot of people, like where I work out in Boca Grande, which is a fairly affluent area. They'll buy a home, they'll destroy that home or gut it and completely redo the interior, or they'll just build a whole brand new house. So a lot of times I'll talk to the demo guys and they'll give me their wood if they don't have a use for it. Oh, you love Grimm? Yeah, so I wrote the mythology of Grimm. That was a lot of fun. It's called the Sterling. Dude, Stuart, I know, man. There's so many names for these things. Like it's an issue I have on eBay, because like there's only so much room to put the description in, and I've heard them called fish boppers, fish knockers, fish whackers, dispatch sticks, sterlings. Like I've heard them called so many things. But yeah, this will definitely do the job, Lloyd. Like, yeah, if you're just needing to stun a stick, this'll do it. Or you stun a fish, not a stick. You don't want to stun a stick. Stun a fish with a stick. All right. Let's see. Now I got to figure out this stuff over here on the floor. So I got this Atasi American Hickory War Club. It's a Cherokee design. I've got this Ipe War Club. This is a Tongan Fijian design. I got to figure out if I'm going to wrap the handle on that. And then after I finish those two, the last thing we're going to do today is this Polynesian Shark Tooth War Club. I just need to, I've got the shark teeth embedded. I use a little bit of epoxy resin just to make sure they were secure. And then I'm going to, because it's way easier to do that and thread the sinew through it. So I'm going to thread sinew. I've got tiny holes drilled in each tooth. We're gonna thread sinew through those. I have zero plan, by the way, on how I'm doing this, so it's gonna be a clusterfuck. Stick around, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a Charlie Foxtrot, and it's gonna be awesome. I have yeah, some of my fish knockers, flounder, I do sell them, like I sell them as a tire thumper or a fish knocker. Like it kind of depends. Hawaiian War Club, yes. But I do make props for movies. Mostly music videos is what my stuff has been in, for like independent bands, you know, like on YouTube. Nothing super impressive. I've made a few props for like high school and college plays, you know, stuff, mostly just stuff that ends up on YouTube. I've never been in anything like super impressive. But like I'll make like stage safe swords or baseball bats. I make stage safe aluminum baseball bats that I decorate to make them look scarier than they are. Oh, dude, flounder, you would not believe some of the wood these people use in their home and then just throw it away. I mean, like every day I see like teak, ebony, ipe, mahogany, friggin' kumaru, ironwood. I actually had, like, the first week I was working at this job, I had to strip this fencing around this like a generator that these people had for their house, a huge generator, and had a fence around it. The fence was made of ipe. The entire fence was ipe, which is insane that they made a fence out of that. Yes, Be Good sticks. I actually that's one of my tire thumpers. I will sometimes call them Do Right sticks, which is what I always heard them called. I do sometimes make them from salvaged wood most of the time. Some stuff I don't, but like all this ipe stuff is all salvaged wood. I try to use salvaged wood whenever possible, just because, you know, when you work with wood, I feel like being conservation conscious is kind of important, because if we're all reckless with the kinds of wood and the amount of wood that we use, we're not going to have any wood left. So, you know, I don't know that I'm necessarily a tree hugger or anything, but I definitely believe we need to be smart and not stupid. Don't be going around buying woods that are already endangered. You know, like ebony is a big one. I will not touch ebony unless it comes from a reclaim project, because if you find ebony online for sale, is usually either one, not ebony, it's some other hardwood that they've dyed black, which I see that a lot, or it's been illegally harvested a lot of the time. Sometimes you'll get people that are selling, like they'll let people go in and like carry out like branches and sticks and stuff, but that's about it. Oh, thanks, Fat. Nice try. I'm the Chew from Boo. What? That's funny. Hey, GS, what's going on? Hey, thanks for the subscription, Flounder. I appreciate that. All right, so let's figure some shit out. I ran from Jalgaon. But there's an Atasi Cherokee War Club. What do you guys think? Handle wrap or just leave it? It's American hickory. I don't know that it needs a handle wrap. Am I circumcised? Actually, I'm 3/4 circumcised, believe it or not. I don't know that I've ever said any of that to anyone in public. It's never been asked before. Handle wrap for sure. All right. Blackthorn, you know, it's funny. I got this one lady, Kit Kats from Scotland, who's on here a lot. She practices like shillelaghs and stuff, and I think it's a she. I've made one shillelagh out of blackthorn like about 2.5 years ago. I had a custom order for a shillelagh that I made out of blackthorn. Blackthorn's very hard to get here in the States. Yeah, I know. That's the other thing that sucks about reclaimed wood, Flounder, is just that, you know, you can't, like, you know, once I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I can't get more. Is there a butt end on it on the War Club on this? I mean, technically anything's a butt end if you try hard enough. Right? I don't know why anyone would make a fence out of ipe. It's the weirdest shit ever. I don't have leather. I do have some other natural cording though. Hey, what's up, OO? I have no idea why someone would make a fence out of ipe. I do not know. It seems excessive to me. Like, where the hell did I put? Oh, there it is. Over here losing stuff in plain sight. I'm doing all right. Hey, what's up, Mr. Ghosty? All right, I guess we're gonna handle wrap this Hickory Cherokee War Club. You still prolapsed. Oh God, you guys. That's funny. I have the most interesting people in my live streams lately. I appreciate you guys. Hemp thread. This is jute cord. I do have a little bit of hemp thread. I'm running a little low on it right now, so but I had a lot of jute, so I've been sticking with jute cord lately. I try to, with stuff like this, I try to stick with the natural jute, not use any of the dyed stuff, just because I want it to look organic. I want it to look natural, like it's all done from natural materials, which it is. Jute is natural material, so. Oh, dude, ebony is so beautiful. What am I doing right now? I am cord wrapping a Cherokee Atasi War Club. I'm cord wrapping the handle of it. I run a shop called Warrior Wood and Props where I make wood weapons and cosplay props. I make stuff that's dangerous, and I make stuff that looks dangerous but isn't. Those are basically my two things. The thing my shop is most known for is custom battle bats, which I'm not doing one of those right now, but I will be in the near future. Can you get one? Yeah, just go to my shop. My link to my eBay shop's in my bio. I usually look at museum pieces there, Ali. That's usually my reference. That's the nice thing about the internet, is that a lot of museums have their entire collections available to view. So a lot of times I go to different museum websites and I look at the weaponry that they have, and I use, for this kind of stuff anyway, I use the museum pieces as my guide on it. The nice thing about museum pieces too is a lot of times they have the weight, the dimensions, the wood types, the materials. They have all that stuff listed with the picture, so it makes it easier for me to know what kind of materials I should be looking at to use. You need it for your ex. Oh, absolutely, troublemaker. Jute is awesome. It doesn't get the attention it deserves. It's strong stuff. It's natural fiber. It's inexpensive, which means I don't have to charge more just for a handle wrap. Because everybody wants leather, but I'm like, leather is not, it's not cheap. And if I'm going to use leather cording, it's going to be more expensive. Oh, I know. Yeah, same with me, dude. Flounder. Like I have so many people that I've worked in their homes, and they're like, "Do you want all this wood?" And I'm like, this is like, this stuff is like $30 a square foot, right? And they're like, "Yeah, I don't want it. I don't need it. I just need to get rid of it." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." The hard part for me is I drive a Honda Civic. I need to get a bigger vehicle. So a lot of times, unless one of my buddies has his truck there and I can just stick it in their truck, I have to load up my Honda Civic and take it to the shop and come back and load it up again. Oh no, they did. They knew what it was made out of because they replaced it with it. They love Ipe. These people, so they had a fence, right, made out of Ipe. They hadn't gotten it resealed in about 10 years, so it was, it was getting some water damage after all the hurricanes we've had the last few years. So they literally just had the whole thing scrapped and replaced with brand new Ipe. They knew. They knew what it was called even. And here's the crazy thing. Above where this fence is, they have a balcony with like a barbecue area, like a kitchen. It's like for parties and stuff. And all of the ceiling, all of the cabinetry, the counters, all of it is Ipe. It's crazy how much Ipe they have in this house. I don't know why these people are so hell-bent on making everything out of a insanely expensive wood, but I guess if you can afford a home in Boca Grande, I don't know that cost is that big of a deal. You're a panel beater and a fiber man? I'm not quite sure what that means. Is that code for something? Like you work in textiles, or? Give me some context there, oh well. But yeah, that's the other thing with the wood, Flounder. Like when I reclaim wood, sometimes I know what it is, sometimes I don't. When I don't know what it is, I gotta kind of figure it out. Like I actually got some Pau Ferro a little while ago. I didn't know what it was. It's an absolutely beautiful wood. I made some limited edition vampire stakes out of it, and I made some pocket Uwara out of it. It's absolutely beautiful. I would love to get more of it, but that shit's expensive. Mostly it's used to make like musical instruments like guitar necks. And oddly enough, it's used to make magic wands for like stage magicians a lot. Because it looks cool, and apparently there's some lore behind the wood that it has magical properties to like create or dispel illusions. So a lot of magicians like to have their magic wands made out of it. You'll kiss me, Michael Knight? I cover it in tung oil. I don't really use linseed oil unless it's requested. Boiled linseed oil can go rancid, and when it goes rancid, oh, not fun. But and tung oil tends to do better when it's stored. So I can buy like a large amount of tung oil and let it sit and not have to worry about if it's going to go rancid on me. So I stick with tung oil for the most part. When I make practice weapons for like my armored combat guys, I don't use tung oil. I use mineral oil. That tends to be what they prefer. It requires a little more maintenance to use mineral oil, but it softens the outer layer of the wood, which when you're fighting a guy who's in armor for practice, there's a lot of like, there's a lot of edges and things on armor that when you hit it with wood can cause cracks and chips and splits in the wood. So by softening the outer layer of the wood with mineral oil, it's more likely to just dent. And so that's what they do. I soak it in mineral oil. My mineral oil is mixed with lemon oil because mineral oil doesn't smell great, which my Boo Hurt guys always joke about it because I send, when they get their practice weapons from me, they're always lemon scented. But it works. There we go. There's our Atasi War Club. Oh shit, you guys, I screwed up. I just remembered I was actually planning to put some feathers on this. Hang on a sec. Let me think for a minute. You guys are distracting me. Hey, what's up, Kazi? I'm making all kinds of stuff this morning. We've been mostly war clubs right now. I'm working on a Cherokee Atasi War Club. I've got a Tongan War Club out of Ipe, and I've got a Hawaiian Shark Tooth War Club out of Rosewood. I'm finishing these up right now. But I make all kinds of weaponry and props in my store. Right, this is Sunday finishing work. This is when I finish all of my projects. So you guys, I am so stupid. I got all these freaking feathers out. I got eagle feathers over here. And I had meant to wrap them into the handle wrap, and I completely forgot about it. So let's see if I can salvage this. You find a couple of good ones, but that aren't too big here. And don't worry, no eagles were harmed for these feathers. I live in Florida. We have eagles here, and I go camping and hiking a lot, and sometimes I find feathers. Actually, these days I don't go camping and hiking a lot. I do it every now and then. I'm too freaking busy these days. All right. Let's see. How can I do this, you guys? Let's see. One sec. Yeah, Ali, that's kind of what I have to do because of the way my job is. Most of my work, I do painting stuff during the week if I have paint that needs to be done in my shop. But other than that, I do all my shaping on Friday. I do my prep work on Friday, my shaping on Saturday, and all my finishing work on Sunday. That's why I'm up at 5 a.m. every freaking day. Ah, you little bastard. Not you guys. Yankee yellow pine? Really? Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. Why? Get in there. All right. Let's try that again. This roof. Oh, thanks, Remote. I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment. I work really hard on everything that I make. Actually, you know what? The bottom probably would make more sense. If I can get it in there, the bottom's way tighter than the top. Which, that sounded like a sexual innuendo, but I promise you I wasn't intentional. And what's weird is that Sundays are kind of my days off. Kinda. Not sure how I'm feeling about these feathers, you guys. I feel like it's just going to get in the way. I don't know. What do you guys think? When I find a feather, the Father from Heaven's looking after me, or there was just a bird there at some point. What do you guys think? Let me put my glasses on. I can't even really see. Not sure how I feel about that. You know what? I'm just gonna go with no feathers. Actually, Derry, it's an Atasi Cherokee war club. Please don't beat any dogs. There, Daryl. So yeah, I'm just gonna go without the feathers. All right, this is the last one. I gotta decide if I want a handle wrap or not. This is a Tongan war club made out of ipe. It's got a taper on the sides. What do you guys think? Handle wrap or just leave? Hey, good morning, Smoke. What do you guys think? I'm trying to figure this out. I think it might just look okay as it is. Ipe is pretty nice, and I feel like if somebody wants to add adornment to it, they can. Sometimes adding stuff is the reason your stuff doesn't sell, I've learned. Sometimes people don't like the color of something or the way something looks. So, what do you guys think? I think I'm just going to leave this one. Yeah, that one can stay. Well, that just leaves... Oh, yeah, wait, I got to do that steak. I was going to do this one last. Because I do not have a plan for this. I have holes drilled in the shark teeth, and I've got this sinew here that I need to put through the holes and wrap. And I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go. Oh, so out in the area where I camp is private property, and the person that owns it, apparently if it's on private property, they're not allowed to sell it. That's the big thing. They can't sell it. But if it's found, it can be used, it can be taken, but it can't be sold. So they can't like turn around and sell it commercially. White oak? Yeah, I use white oak. Yeah, I make stuff out of white oak every now and then. It's a little more expensive than red oak, especially right now because a lot of white oak is imported, and with tariffs and all that stuff, everything's gotten more expensive. But no, I've worked with white oak mostly to make boken. But if someone needed white oak for a custom order, I'd be willing to do that. No, yeah, I'm not telling you that, my guy. That's your parents. That's your parents' prerogative, there, bro. I'm not sure you need to know that information yet. Bird law, right? But yeah, if it's private property, the only real rule around it is you can't go like grabbing feathers and selling them. Like that's I think the main issue. But they were given to me by the owner of the property, so and they're not great. I mean, they're not super nice feathers. The white does it's not. I've seen much nicer feathers than these, because I only pick mine up off the ground. They're not taken from an eagle. Am I married? Not really, Mystical. No. I'm in a relationship, but I am not married. All right. Get this. Yeah, not on a national park or reservation. Like I camp out at Mayaca River State Park here in Florida a lot. That's like my favorite place to go camping around here. And yeah, it's the usual rule there as anywhere else. Take out what you pack in and leave behind what you find. So don't leave anything and don't take anything. And I follow that rule. So I think the only time I haven't, and I don't know that this even really counts, is I found that there was a stick and we had an injured person in our group that needed a walking stick, so I fashioned a walking stick. It was a piece of deadfall. I didn't like chop a branch down or anything. Real shark teeth, yes. It's not illegal. Sorry to hear about that, Alma. I hope things get better for you. I know losing a family member's tough. But no. I mean, I wouldn't go like yanking teeth out of a shark. I'm pretty sure that they frown on that. I'm not sure if that's illegal or just stupid. But no, there's no law against using animal teeth or animal bones or anything like that. Matter of fact, I make atame daggers for Wiccans out of deer bone. So yeah, no, I try not to use like resin stuff, but no, these are actual tiger shark teeth. All right, people, I gotta figure out a plan here. Fuck. Hang on. Well, I can't. I was gonna say, let me look on my phone at the reference, and I can't do that because you guys are on my phone right now. Hey, Alma, welcome from New Zealand. I hope things get better for you. A good camping spot in Northwest Indiana? I have no idea, Mystical Harness. I've never been there. Anybody else? Anybody know a good place in Northwest Indiana to help out our guy there? Get through the hole. Go home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me. All right, get in there, you. All right. You know what? This was working fine earlier. These holes are very small. Sorry, guys, I won't be able to look at you and interact for just a bit, as I kind of got to concentrate on these. All right. Got to make sure I have plenty of lead on this. Dude, Flounder, that sounds awesome. Where's my upper teeth? These? You don't want answers to them? You have questions and don't want answers? That's funny. All right. Is that enough for me to get around? Okay, so let's go. All right. I'm hoping this is enough. Oh, that's cool, Cassie. Ali, I've been doing this off and on since I was a kid. I kind of got interested in melee weapons as a kid. I did martial arts and stuff, and but my family didn't have a lot of money, so I kind of had to learn to make my own stuff sometimes. I learned to make my own bokken and my own practice swords. Pretty much out of necessity. Get through there, you little shit. Once I get through the holes, I can tighten everything up, but the tip keeps fraying, and it's a very small hole. Last hole. All right. Come on, you little fucker. There we go. Where did my... Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be neglectful. Give me a minute. Just gotta get this through. All right, that's too long. Well, maybe not. All right. That needs to be cut. There we go. All right, you guys. Yeah, you always got to be careful taking stuff, Cassie. Yeah, you definitely got to. The Rangers definitely, they don't mess around with that stuff. All right, there we go. Polynesian War Club is finished. That's going to go on the shop later today. That should be fun. Not the best cording job I've ever done, but it's my first time working with shark teeth, so I'm going to call it good. I feel like I try to mess with that too much more, I'm just going to make it worse. Putin, I don't think you're spelling that word right, my guy. Which is ironic. Don't you think? A little too ironic. And yeah, I really do think. It's like rain on your wedding day. Sorry, ADHD moment. Apologize. All right. Oh, well, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about the wooden stake. We gotta do the wooden stake. Yeah, and that should be my last project today. We can do some show and tell afterwards if you guys want to. I can show off a battle bat, a few other things if you guys want to see. I'll show all the stuff I finished today. For those who missed the beginning of the live. Then I'm gonna go home and watch a bad ninja movie. Probably my last ninja movie of Ninja November. I have a strange bad movie addiction issue. I guess there are worse addictions to have. And this is just a basic poplar wooden stake. I make these in the shop. These are just These are probably my cheaper style of steaks. What would that movie be? You know, I haven't decided yet. Yeah, Jason, Flash, savior of the universe. Yes, actually, I've made almost all the Ninja Turtle weapons. I have a group of guys. They do the 1989 movie. They all have the like latex uniform, or latex costumes from that movie. I've done Donatello's staff. I've done Michelangelo's nunchucks. I don't make those. I don't keep those in stock anymore. They're just not worth it. They're too difficult. So I only do those for custom orders now. But I have Raphael Sai and Electra Sai that I do that are camera ready. They look good on camera. They look real, but they are all rubber and foam and plastic. Same with my Michelangelo nunchucks. They're all rubber, foam, and plastic. The last set, I'm working on those right now, or I'm trying to make a set of con-safe Leonardo katana. I've got some 3/4 inch polyvinyl plastic that I'm going to try to use to make that. But for conventions, when it comes to swords, like sometimes you can get away with wood depending on what kind and how thick it is and stuff like that. But I kind of want something that's universally convention safe. I've been struggling trying to get these katana, because they need to look good too. They can't just be con safe. They need to look real on camera as much as possible. So I've got some plastic that I'm going to shape out. I need to make the Suba handguards for them. And I need to paint everything and assemble it. And I was going to start on that this weekend, but unfortunately, I cannot be around any enamel or oil-based paints this weekend because I got exposed to a bunch of it last week due to a mistake at a job site. I ended up having to take a couple sick days because I got basically paint fume poisoning. Yeah, I might do that, Jason. I do that for my baseball bats. Like, I just have them set up that I make them to order. Yeah, I could do that. I definitely have pictures of them. I just don't make them that often because the foam, if it sits in storage for too long, the foam can degrade. And so, you know, they're cosplay props. They're not meant to last forever. They're probably good for a couple years, and then you'll need a new set. But you can swing them. They're all plastic and foam. They look good. I had to base them off of the cartoon Michelangelo nunchucks so that they didn't look too real, because with nunchucks, conventions are a little more iffy when it comes to stuff like nunchucks. So, but I may think about putting them on the shop and just, you know, saying they're made to order. It takes me about a week to make a set, just because I only am able to work on them mostly on the weekends. Here we go. Vampire Hunter steak complete. Stabby, stabby. Whew. All right, where did that go? There it is. What's up, Brian? How's it going? All right, just finished up for the day. So here's what all we got done. Oh wait, I got something else I gotta do. I forgot. Let's see, is that? I don't think that's gonna be long enough. Hang on one sec, guys. Forgot about my Rudis sword. It's just a trophy sword, not meant for sparring at all. It's hey, what's up, SC? These are mostly used as trophies or gifts. I sell them to like fencing groups, use them as trophies at tournaments, SCA, HEMA, Boo Hurt. A lot of them use these. I mostly make them out of Purple Heart. I've never made one out of Padauk, so I decided to see what it would look like as Padauk. I definitely like the Purple Heart better. The Padauk doesn't look bad, but I think the Purple Heart definitely is a better choice than the Padauk. I just think the Purple Heart looks so nice. And some people with the Purple Heart ones, a lot of people buy them, not a lot of people, but some people buy them as gifts for people who have just gotten out of the military. You know, because a rooted sword was given to a gladiator who had won their freedom. Hey, what's up, Leonard? So, you know, some people will gift them to military guys who've just gotten out of the service. Let's see if I have enough leather on here. I think I might have just enough, barely. I don't know. I think that's gonna be cutting it too close. Finishing tape. Whack. Good gracious. I've got to clean this table off. The staining, there's no staining. This is the color of the wood. Padauk is this color. It starts out, Padauk's kind of a cool wood. So it starts out as like a bright orange, kind of like see the bright orange in there. And over time, it turns darker. Like over the span of years, it goes from a light orange to like a dark orange to like a brownish orange. And eventually it'll be almost like a purplish, brownish, orange mix. So yeah, but no finish. It's just tung oil. It's a clear tung oil finish, but that's just the color of the wood. All right, let's see. Gotta figure out how much leather I need for this. Let's see about there. Crap. Hang on, you guys. Sorry. My brain malfunctioned there. I forgot which way to cut it. Because I got to cut it at an angle. I forgot to do that on my last one. I forgot to cut it at an angle and ended up with a flat edge of the leather. It doesn't look great. So, all right. So that's the angle. That way. And there we go, I hope. Oxidative color change, yeah. Yeah, it's sorry about the sound, you guys. There's a air conditioning unit on the other side of this wall, and I think it causes some weird background noise when it's running. I'm very sorry about that. I need to get better about it. I need to get a better mic. I can get this off. What the hell? Not sure why the adhesive isn't coming off, but all right, let's see here. I think it'll still work with the adhesive it's got on there. Or maybe not. Well, that's a problem. All right, well, we're going with it. We don't got time. No time for love, Dr. Jones. Oh, look at that. As my boss says, slicker than owl shit. The mic's too good. No, not a paddle to spank with, although I have made those. We don't kink shame in my shop. I have made a few custom orders for the BDSM community. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna put a little finishing tape on this. There we go. There we go. Rudis sword complete. Yes, that is definitely how the wood is spelled. Padauk, P-A-D-U-A-U-K. I do actually, Mjolnir. For some of my bowkin, I do use similar woods to what they use for hockey sticks. I don't use hockey sticks, but I do use similar wood for what they use. But this is not meant for sparring. This is a wall hanger piece. It's one of the few that I make. I don't make a lot of pieces that are just meant to be pretty, but my Rudis swords, that's what they are for. Yeah, I've used hard maple before. I've actually made bowkin, and I've made Yawara out of hard maple. Well, yeah. With this one, the only thing that's not natural is the finishing tape, and honestly, that's not permanent. That's just there to hold the leather in place while the adhesive kind of has time to set. When the person buys it, they can take that off, and it'll be fine. You have a sparring wood sport Mjolnir? Yeah, I make those as well. I make all sorts of wasters. Do you have a Viking waster? I make those. I can go grab one if you guys want to see them. Yeah, the polypropylene, I know that's like one of my big competitors is the polypropylene. The only thing with polypro is that it's a weight issue. The polypro doesn't do a great job of mimicking the weight of a weapon. The balance is often off on those. They're not horrible. I mean, I have some. I have a couple of just standard polypro bowkin that my son and I practice with. There's nothing wrong with them at all. But if you're looking for something to like mimic the weight of a sword, the plastic doesn't do super great. I'll tell you what, guys, hang tight. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a couple wasters. I'll show you guys what else I've got here. We'll do a little show and tell, and then I gotta call it a day. Be right back. These are my standard wasters that are used mostly for armored combat guys. These have mineral oil soaks instead of tung oil finishes. This is the Viking waster. Let me back up so you guys can actually see it. This is my Viking waster. It's red oak. It's got a mineral oil immersion, and it also comes with a no break guarantee. If it breaks during sparring or when it should not under normal use, I replace it free of charge. All you have to do is send me a photo and tell me how it broke, so that I can figure out if it was an issue with the wood grain or my design. And this is a Gladius. Hang on, I gotta scroll back. You guys have been talking while I've been gone. Oh, yeah, Lignum Vitae is great, but damn is it expensive. I've got Kumaru, which is just as good, but yeah, Forged Steel is good. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, everybody always says, what good is a sword when there's a gun? Well, obviously, if there's a gun, I'm not using a sword. You know, but guns don't always come into play. I know, pulling out guns for a bump in the night, a little nuts. This is a Gladius waster. These are the two that I mostly keep in stock. I keep these, and I have the medieval, just the standard broadsword waster that I keep in stock. Everything outside of that for my European wasters is mostly custom orders because everybody's practice weapon's different. A hammer and a golf club. All right, let me go put these up. Is there anything else you guys want to see before we call it? Any other weirdness? Oh, you guys wanted to see a battle bat, didn't you? Which I feel bad. I feel like I keep showing the same battle bat because I've only got one in stock right now. It was a proof of concept for a custom order. All right, cool. Battle bat it is. I'll be right back. If you've been on one of my lives before, you've probably already seen this. This is the no-brainer. This was a proof of concept for a custom order. The guy wanted a replica of the Axe baseball bat from the video game Days Gone. So his didn't have a paint job. It just had bare wood that I had distressed and had a basic athletic tape handle, but the blades were the same. But I made this one to make sure I could do it, and it works. I impact tested it on some watermelon, and the blades are embedded with industrial epoxy and plumber's putty. They are not going anywhere. Nice. That's a cool war axe you got there, Mjolnir. Yeah, that's pretty much what my battle bats are, you guys. I make weird baseball bats, mostly zombie apocalypse type stuff. I've made them with barbed wire, nails, spikes, studs, machete blades, steak knives. I had one person wanted a steak knife one with steak knives in it. And this one is my axe bat. Aim for the throat. I mean, yeah, you aim for the throat. I feel like the throat would do it. Oh yeah, this will do some band damage for sure. And I realize I just aged myself by saying band damage. Do I make shields? I do. I'm actually working on my first shield right now. I haven't made one before, so I'm kind of still working on the process for them. But mostly right now, prop weapons and swords, but I do make other stuff. Like I do get orders for other things that aren't just like weapons. I get shield orders sometimes. I get like I make charcuterie boards for people sometimes if they want them. You know, I will make anything custom if you just let me know what it is, and if I can make it, I'll make it. But I'm still working on my process for making shields. I'm hoping by this summer I will have start being able to put some shields together to have in stock. Department of Zombies, Werewolves, and Vampires. I feel like this would work definitely against zombies. Werewolves and vampires, I've got other stuff. Like, you know, vampires, not really any werewolf stuff. You know what I find funny is most people think the only way to kill a werewolf or to deal with a werewolf is a silver bullet, right? But here's a question for you. Werewolves have been around since before firearms. So how did you deal with a werewolf before firearms were a thing? Most people don't know the older lore. Actually, the most common way to deal with a werewolf before firearms came along was to throw an iron bar directly over the werewolf's head. And that would make the werewolf return to human form. I've never tested that theory. I've never tested the whether or not that works, but it's in the lore. I mean, silver-plated blades would probably work. If it's a silver bullet, you'd think a silver weapon would probably work. Probably anything silver. But here's the thing, like silver, iron, and salt, right? Those three elements kind of show up in a lot of supernatural creature lore, like fairy lore. There's all kinds of different creatures that can be killed with either silver, salt, or iron. Yeah, silver works on a lot of cryptids, for sure. He made silver rounds. What, in Arizona, was he worried about skinwalkers? In atasi? I know there are some tribes in the Southwest that they have concerns about those. But anyway, yeah. So I make custom battle bats. Like, I've made every kind of battle bat you can think. It started off, people wanted Negan bats, and I started making Negan bats, and then The Walking Dead kind of fell off, and I had people asking for other stuff. I had a lady wanted, my niece actually wanted a Hello Kitty Negan bat, so I made a Hello Kitty one. I made a Nightmare on Elm Street theme one for another person. I made the Balenciaga bat for Refashioned Hippie, who's here on YouTube. She does like fashion stuff. I did the nail bat, the lights out meatball nail bat for Nugs, the final girl. She's also on YouTube and Instagram. She does horror movie reviews, stuff like that. Yeah, if you can think about it, I can make it. I once made a unicorn bat where like they wanted, like made a resin unicorn horn with like an LED light embedded in the resin, and I had a switch on the bat where you could turn the switch on and off where the light inside the horn would light up, and it would look really cool. It was a pink glittery unicorn horn with a glitter purple bat and rainbow tape wrap. Oh, that's cool, Monir. Engraving's hard, man. My buddy Chris, buddy of mine does engraving. I don't have the eye for it or the patience. If I need engraving or detail work, I tend to go to somebody who like specializes in that. I don't try to do it myself because I think I'll just ruin it, which we don't want. We don't want to ruin something for no reason. So I often find that when you get to the finishing phase of stuff, you have some decisions to make, because sometimes you can work really hard on a project and then ruin it in the final finish because you didn't go in with the right plan. But there's no way to know if it's the right plan if it's the first time you're doing it. So that's always seems to be like, if a project's gonna fall apart, it always falls apart in the very last part of the build. Oh my gosh, right, so just go in there. Good gracious. You fit in there when you got here. Go to your home. Well, you guys, how long have we been on here? Oh my gosh. Ugh. Here's the carpenter. Hey, no such thing as just a carpenter, man. Carpentry is a hell of a skill. Like, I have to make my community's doing like a luau in January, and they need a like a serving tray for a pig, and they asked if I would make one. Their budget's like $500, so I have to make it out of plywood. Like, so the pig can go on it and they can carry it. And I tell you what, making stuff like that way harder than making weapons, because I have to actually measure everything and make sure everything's exactly right, like down to like the millimeter. Otherwise, everything won't fit up. So, no such thing as just a carpenter, man. That takes some skill. Dude, yeah, and guys that can do that, I live in awe of them, man. Like, people, the kind of guys that can like look at an engine and just figure out how it works. Like, that's not a color I see, dude. But I am always just in awe of people who can do that kind of stuff. Like, with weaponry, it's more of just understanding basic dimensions and balance, which I'm good at because I've been doing combat sports since I was like 3 years old. So, both with and without weapons. So I kind of just have I don't know, kind of an innate understanding of weaponry and understanding how like things need to be balanced and stuff like that. So that's my wheelhouse, and I try to stick to that wheelhouse. I look like I'm from Iran. Did you mean Iran? Or Oran? I would probably be the only blue-eyed guy showing up if it's Iran or Iran. But yeah, no. I'm Irish, Scottish, English, Dutch, and German, man. I think I would just burst into flames if I was in Iran. You are a talented man, Mjolnir. That all takes a lot of skill. Like, I used to be a marketing copywriter until about 3 or 4 months ago, when I was replaced by the AI that I trained for my company. And right now, the only jobs for marketing copywriters that anybody wants is to train more AI, and I don't feel like training my replacement again. So I gave it up. Now now I work in home renovations, which I like more anyway. It's less money, but it's good times. Yeah, it's kind of messed up, but it's happening to everybody right now. If you're a creative, if you're a creative person who works in a creative role at a company, right now they're replacing everybody with AI. I spent 2 years, for the last 2 years I was at that company, they told me I needed to use their AI, and it was kind of a condition of my employment that I continued using their AI, and I did. And then about 3 months ago, they told me that I was being laid off due to a corporate restructure. And after I left, I found out that they replaced me with the AI. So yeah, not fun. But it's happening to everybody right now. AI's kicking a lot of people off. I don't understand why we're using AI for creative stuff, though. I feel like let AI do the boring stuff, not the creative stuff. Because it's not creative. AI doesn't create anything. All it does is look at everything that's ever been created, and it creates a mosaic or an amalgamation of all that stuff that existed in the past. So if we replace AI, we use AI to replace all the creative stuff, eventually we'll just be getting the same shit over and over again. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate American education? Probably a 4. I think that the main problem, here's the thing. American education, they're very good at teaching you the basic stuff, like reading, writing, arithmetic, history, basic history. Of course, they suck at giving you context in history in American education. My main problem with American education, and this has been an issue since the late 90s, is that we do not teach critical thinking skills in our schools. You have to get to the college level to learn to be a critical thinker. And most people in the U.S. don't even know what critical thinking skills are. They don't know how to identify false arguments. All they know is if it sounds like it makes sense, then it probably makes sense, which is why people in America tend to get easily manipulated. But yeah, we don't learn basic life skills. You learn how to like do long division, but nobody teaches you about like how to file your taxes or about how voting works or any of that stuff. You don't learn any of those things. But true critical thinking skills, like being able to identify when an argument is false and why it's false, and understanding how to poke holes in a false argument is extremely important. It's how people avoid being manipulated. And I feel that our country over the last 30 years or so has kind of purposely, in my opinion, removed any type of critical thinking education from our public education system, because they don't want a thinking populace. They want a populace that's easily controlled. And that's pretty much how we got to our current political climate here in the US, to be honest with you. Most people can't agree because everyone thinks they're right, because they don't know how to identify that they're wrong. They've never been taught how to identify what is a solid argument and what's a false argument. That is true. Like, well, yeah, I mean, critical thinking skills, like, they do come with experience, but they can be taught. You know, the basics of rhetoric and the basics of argument, those are things that can be taught. Oh, I disagree, Molnir. I'm a democratic socialist, so... you know, so yeah, I mean, that's a thing. No, I don't think they became an echo chamber. I think that the problem with schools is that if a lot of people disagree with what they teach sometimes, whether it's real or not, I think that's where we end up with problems. But no, I'm a democratic socialist. I mean, I'm not a monster, man. But I believe that tax dollars should be used to create a better life for people, better opportunities for people. I don't think medical bankruptcy should be a thing in a country with as much money as we have. I don't think that higher education should be kept behind a paywall, basically. I don't think that's okay. Well, the party system definitely is an issue. I think it's not our only problem, but it's definitely our main one. The two-party system has really created like a dichotomy and a schism in the U.S. where, it's us versus them, which is a terrible, terrible way to have a system of government, especially a democratic one. Yes, exactly. They want button pushers. That's definitely true. No, I know, man. Like, that's the thing. School had gotten insanely expensive when I went to college, and that was in the early 2000s. So, I know it's more now. Every year, my tuition would go up. And that was in the early 2000s, and I know they're still doing that. Yay, Shozy! Welcome back, my dude. What's up? Hey, welcome back. Oh, whoa. Yeah, well, I think lobbyists in general should be outlawed, because I think that's one of the other big problems that we have in the U.S., is that most Congress people, when they finally are done with their terms of service, when they get voted out or they choose to resign, they go work for lobby companies, mostly because those lobby companies promised them jobs when they were congressmen. It's not a bribe if you don't get it when you're in office. So they get jobs where they don't do anything and they just get paid a paycheck. But yeah, I think lobbying should be outlawed in general. I think all should be illegal for politicians to work at lobbying companies after they leave office. I think all of that causes problems. Yes, it is. This is a Flash Gordon t-shirt, Shozy. One of my favorite movies of all time. Flash, savior of the universe. Yeah, no lobby. They shouldn't be able to lobby. They shouldn't be able to own stocks. The return on investment for the average congressperson's stock portfolio is like 120%. That's insane. The average return on a normal human being stock portfolio is usually between 10 and 20%. And you're telling me that Congress people have 120% returns on their stock portfolios? Come on. No, because that's the thing. They know what policies are coming up. They know what policies are likely to pass. It's basically just insider trading. It's really all that is. It's just endorsed insider trading. No, I don't think, when you're in government, I don't think you should be allowed to own. I mean, if you can own it, maybe whatever you owned before you became a politician, but even then that could become a conflict of interest. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we shouldn't be able to own or trade stocks while they're in office. I think it's ridiculous. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a political conversation. Exactly. We don't need voting party. I think is a big issue, but I think it's getting harder these days to vote individual than to vote party because it's an issue that I've had because I used to be an independent voter. These days, I mostly vote Democrat. I not always, but mostly. There's some things that I don't vote on the Democrat side of things, but for the most part, I vote Democrat because the party systems have been set up where, if they're in that party, they're going to support that party stuff, and that's where it kind of comes into a problem. I know, dude, everything's political. I fucking hate it. I miss the days when we only had to talk about politics once in a while. Why Democrat? I don't know, man. Because people are stupid. Because that mostly tends to align with what I want to see happen. I'm a democratic socialist. I'm honestly not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm a democratic socialist. So, Yeah, it's true, Mjolnir. But, I do feel that mainly because of the Electoral College, voting has definitely just kind of become, an issue. It's not, is it as impactful as it used to be? Definitely not. Exactly, shows you that's what I want. I just want people to have what they need to thrive, and I want leadership that actually gives a damn about improving the state of living for people in the country and the states that they govern. But instead, we've got a bunch of people that are worried about their self-interest. And I'm not talking about just Republicans. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party, fucking all of them. They every single last one of them is in it for themselves. But anyway, yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to turn this into a political discussion. I try to avoid politics on here as much as I can because I feel like we deal with that enough in our fucking lives. All right. Well, you guys, I'm about out of time for today. I gotta start wrapping things up. Oh yeah, super PACs, another thing that should be illegal. Let me go put this away, and I'll come back and we'll wrap it up. If you got any more questions for me, stick them in the chat, and then I'm out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. I had so much stuff to get through, and I really appreciate the conversations. Exactly. That's the other problem, Horseshoe, is that, we can't avoid it because we have to change it, which is kind of the trouble, But hey, guys, I'm out of here. Go do something that's not political. Worry about that on Monday. But politics, yeah. Anyway, you guys take care. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I'll be back next weekend as usual for Saturday staying on Saturday and Sunday finishing work on Sunday. Have a good rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. And yeah, multiple bloodsuckers indeed. But have a good rest of your Thanksgiving weekend, and I will see you guys next week. I'm out.